He was just an ordinary guy, but after being transported to a parallel world, he becomes the strongest martial artist with the help of a level-up cheat skill. The story begins when the ancient god of war comes back to life and a 28-year-old guy named Fang Ping gets teleported 10 years back in time to a parallel universe where martial arts is everything. When he opens his eyes, he finds himself floating like a ghost in the middle of an epic battle between two Grandmaster-level martial artists named Tai and Lai. Tai unleashes his purple aura and slams Lai straight into a mountain using a powerful martial arts technique. After this, he starts celebrating his victory, but Lai shows him who's the boss by revealing his hidden technique called the Heavenly Horse Master Fist and ends up completely obliterating the other Grandmaster. After that, Fang Ping finds himself sitting in a class seat and is drenched in sweat like he just woke up from some terrible dream. He looks around, still struggling to process what just happened. The teacher announces that registration for the martial arts exam will begin tomorrow and then walks out of the classroom. He notices his classmates Yang Jian and Chen Fan and keeps staring at them. The two look back and ask why he's staring at them like that, but before he can reply, another classmate shows up with a video. In the video, a guy named Li Dali, who's a third-rank warrior, keeps bluffing about risking his life to enter the battle zone of 8th-grade warriors. He tells the viewers to remember his name if he ends up getting killed just to show them around the place. Fang sees the battlefield and realizes it's the exact same place he just saw where the two Grandmasters were fighting each other. Still clueless about what happened to the world and where all this martial artist stuff came from, he rushes to an internet cafe and starts digging through the web. He soon learns that this is actually a parallel world where martial artists rule everything. And the martial arts exam seems to be a major turning point in a person's life here. He steps out of the cafe after finding out that the registration fee is around 10,000 and the vitality pills he needs cost nearly 30,000. On the way, he comes across a wanted poster of a second-rank martial artist and then heads straight to his house in Jinggu Garden. He feels a wave of nostalgia just looking at the place and even finds a key in his pocket. As he steps inside, his sister dashes over and demands he return the money he borrowed from her. Fang pinches her face and she instantly runs off to complain to their mother. Fang then sees his father walk into the house and smiles as he takes in the sight of his family. While having dinner, he tells his father he wants to appear in the martial arts exam. His father gets up from the table and returns with an envelope full of money, telling him how serious of a commitment this choice really is. At night, Fang eavesdrops on his parents while they're doing the dishes. As his mother brings up that they've got only around 50,000 in savings, his father tells her he'll borrow some blood-boosting pills from the factory because he doesn't want to hold back their child. The next day at school, Fang's friends freak out after finding out that he signed up for the martial arts exam claiming it to be total trash. Their teacher walks into class and announces that Wang Jinyang from their school, who is now a proper martial artist, is going to visit their school. This instantly lifts the mood of the whole class, and just then the professor asks Fang, Wu, and Yang to head over to the station to pick up their senior. Later that day, while Fang lies on his bed checking the admission criteria for the upcoming exam, a drop of foul-smelling water falls on him, and he realizes the upstairs bathroom is leaking again. Just then his mom calls out, asking him to check the vitality pills his father brought. Fang quickly gets up and inspects them. The moment he holds one of the pills, a strange sensation runs through him, and he finds himself in a strange place. A panel screen appears showing something called martial art value. He glitches back to reality and starts wondering if it was just a hallucination. He gets curious and picks up the second pill, landing in the same strange space. This time he's sure it's not a dream but something caused by the blood key pills. He realizes that he is standing on top of a statue and looks at the system panel, being confused about its contents. After touching the second pill, the martial art value displayed there seems to double. Thinking it might represent the pill's market worth, he taps on the one written in the second line indicating vital energy. A sharp wave of pain hits him as the martial art value suddenly begins to drop. This sudden fluctuation in Kai and blood catches the attention of a wanted fugitive who seems to have a woman held captive. Around the same time, Senior Wang receives word that the criminal has just entered Kangshan, and once he gets out of there, tracking him might become impossible. Senior Wang mocks the informer for scaring off the target too early and demands 500,000 martial art points. The story shifts back to Fang as his muscles tense up hard, and when he checks the martial art points, they've dropped all the way to 30,000, while his vital energy has barely gone up by just 0.1, showing a ridiculous ratio of 100,000 to 1. He shouts in frustration, wondering how many pills he would even need at that rate, and right then, his sister bursts through the door yelling at him for screaming like a lunatic. Fang is impressed that the pill didn't vanish after use and decides to name the strange place within the statue as the system. The next day arrives and Fang heads to the station along with his classmates to receive their senior. When Senior Wang shows up, one of the boys questions why he didn't come through the main exit, upon which Wang quickly hides the fact that he's been tracking the fugitive and simply claims to have arrived a bit earlier than scheduled. As Fang introduces himself, Wang feels the familiar surge of energy running through his body and tells the yellow hoodie guy, who's been bragging non-stop, that his strength matches Fang's. His classmates begin to suspect he's taken some energy pills, but Fang comes up with an excuse. They suggest Wang take the bus, but end up walking with him instead as per his request. Once they reach the school, Wang gives a solid motivational speech, hyping up the crowd. Before he leaves at sunset, he hands his contact number to the juniors who came to pick him up, telling them to reach out if they ever run into trouble. Just as Senior Wang leaves, Fang suddenly remembers that the ceiling in his room is still leaking, so he rushes off to take care of it. He knocks on the door of the neighbor living above him, and when no one answers, he turns to leave but stops as he hears a sound of glass shattering. He immediately goes back and starts calling out for his Aunt Chen who lives there. Just as Fang shouts again, a man opens the door and scolds him for making a scene. He calmly says that Aunt Chen has rented the place to him for a few days. Fang mentions the ceiling leak coming from the bathroom and assumes the new tenant might know something. The man eyes him carefully, trying to figure out if the kid knows who he really is, then invites him in to keep things cool. Fang walks for the bathroom and spots a blood-stained bandage, instantly realizing he's bumped into the wanted criminal. Sensing something's off, the man offers to heat some water and tells Fang to sit down. The criminal brings up the bounty, successfully tricking Fang into revealing that he knows about him, but before things go south, Fang manages to type a message to Senior Wang asking for help. Just then, Wang calls and Fang picks up in a panic, but before he can say much, the criminal slams him into the wall. Fang gets wrecked and struggles to stand back up. The wanted criminal realizes the city is no longer safe for him, and to erase all evidence, he reaches straight for our hero's head. But right then, something unexpected happens as Fang manages to restore his energy by trading points through the system. He dodges a couple of attacks, trying to recover the fight, but ends up getting slammed into the ground again. Just when the fugitive is about to unleash his strongest move, Senior Wang makes a stunning entry and beats the guy so hard that he passes out. Senior Wang checks if Fang is alright, then explains the backstory behind the criminal. That's when Fang suddenly remembers Aunt Chen and quickly rushes to save her. After handing the criminal over to the police, Wang gives Fang a thumbs up for holding his own against the fugitive, whose name turns out to be Huan Bin. Fang knows his system had a big hand in that fight, but decides it's better to keep it on the down low. Wang hands him the fugitive's stuff, saying he might need it for his breakthrough, and when Fang asks what the items are for, his senior happily explains that the blood key pills help raise the upper limit of one's Kai energy. Then there are the Kai and blood elixirs used for breaking through to the next level. He also mentions that each tire gets split into 4 smaller stages and goes on to fill him in with the rest of the essentials. Just then, Fang's sister shows up, throwing a storm of complaints about him not picking her up from school, but the second she spots Wang, her face lights up and she launches herself at him, begging for an autograph. After Fang heads back to his room, he checks out the items and suddenly gets glitched back into the system, where his martial arts value has skyrocketed to over 2 million, which explains why his reactions feel even more intense now. Out of nowhere, the system starts glowing and Fang realizes it must be an upgrade. The moment he merely thinks about increasing his vitality, a sharp pain surges through him, and he discovers that getting stronger now is as easy as becoming Goku. The next day at school, the rich kid starts bragging about how tough it was for him to walk a few steps to the Vitality Center that his parents bought him the machine to check it at home. He then drags Fang to his place, wanting to see if what Senior Wang said was actually true. The rich kid tells Fang to stir up his emotions and try reaching his peak value. Fang gives it his all, reaching a value of 113, which the rich kid can't believe. Our poor hero ends up spending the whole night there just to convince the rich kid that it's as real as it gets, and the day of the test finally arrives. At the test center, the examiner gives a pre-test speech about how martial artists are the pride and future of the nation, then moves on to explain the rules. He makes it clear that anyone scoring above 112 would pass and tells them to begin. Everyone starts yelling their lungs out, but once the rest go quiet, Fang keeps on screaming like a kid, refusing to stop until he turns into a Dragon Ball Z character. His testing capsule lights up bright red, and the examiner looks stunned as the score shoots up to 149, which is the same as what Senior Wang got last year. Even the rich guy is left speechless, realizing Fang had him wrapped around his finger the entire night. After clearing the test, Fang rings up his senior and asks if he's down to share some info about the university he should be aiming for. Senior Wang tells him to meet at the sports arena tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon. That night, when Fang's father sees his results, he ends up crying tears of joy over how far his kid has come. The whole family gets a bit emotional, and then the story jumps to the next day. Wang congratulates our boy for clearing the exam and introduces him to his teacher's daughter, Nini. He tells her to wait on the side and then starts thinking about his master, Zhang Kingman, who once entered a portal knowing fully well that it would close behind him. But for the sake of humanity, the guy had no choice. Right before leaving to rescue some guy named Shen Quan, the master handed over the martial arts society to Wang Jinyang. Wang tried pulling a cheap move to make him stay, saying he'd just marry his daughter if the guy doesn't stay, but the master shut it down right away, calling him shameless and warning he'd break his legs since the girl was still a kid. Snapping back to the present, Wang launches a surprise attack on Fang and messes around, asking if he's satisfied with that flimsy body. Then he gets serious again and walks him through the best university options, pointing out 4 that he personally recommends since they provide everything needed for breakthroughs free of cost. After giving it some serious thought, Fang decides to go with the second school, Mo. Before long, the day of departure arrives. Fang says his goodbyes to his family, and his sister pulls a crybaby face, asking him to let her know as soon as he finds himself a bride. As the train pulls away, she runs after it, giving a clear sign that she'll miss him. Meanwhile, Wang walks alongside his master's daughter, vowing to get stronger so he can save Fang one day. Fang arrives at the university and gets absolutely blown away by the entrance when a guy with razor-sharp teeth pulls out his giant greatsword and tells him not to think getting into Mo makes him special. As he tries to figure out what stage Fang's at, Fang laughs off the disrespect with a smile and asks if he's his senior, so the blue-haired guy introduces himself as Qin Fengking. But when Fang introduces himself and mentions Nanjing, Qin frowns as his archenemy Wang's face flashes through his head and tells him to stop chatting so casually with his senior and start showing some respect. As he walks off with a sack full of resources, Qin curses Wang and vows to refine himself until he crushes both Wang and Nanjing University. Later at the reception, Fang shows his admission form to the receptionist, who is surprised to see he has second rank bone tempering, but after running a quick test on him, she finds out he's already reached 3rd rank in just a month, something only 1 second year has managed so far. Everyone's stunned as the lady instantly starts laying out the protocol and even tells his senior Zhou Yun to escort him. After that, she leads them to Area 1 and explains that the scenery is made breathtaking on purpose to lift the students' spirits when the grind gets overwhelming. Inside the dorms, Fang heads to his room and gets pleasantly surprised by the massive space he gets all to himself. Just as he starts settling in, a blonde pretty boy from across the hall, Fu Changbing, walks in and makes himself comfortable on his sofa. With a charming smile, he asks where Fang's from, and when Fang says Nanjing, Fu's attitude shifts fast as he asks if he knows the name Wang. Fu goes on about how Wang's been breaking through like crazy and has already beaten the top fighters from 8 universities. While Fang sips a cold one, Fu notices he has 3rd rank bone tempering and is caught off guard, his tone changing again as he admits their strength might not be that far off in a real fight. He then tells Fang not to be late for their mentor's speech in Field 1 and flashes a cheeky grin, telling him to make a bombastic debut. At the field, Qin gets pulled along by a woman to scout for any impressive freshers, and Fang shows up with his new best friend right at the last second as the clock strikes 3. Steel gates suddenly burst open and a graceful man cuts through the students' uproar and announces that any latecomers will lose half the credits granted at admission, which are worth tens of thousands of martial arts points for daring to arrive late from the start. The principal of Mo Academy makes it clear they must learn to follow every rule, and life won't be filled with roses and laughter for those set to become warriors who protect the nation. He drives the message home that joining Mo isn't their peak, but the start of a hellish race straight to the bottom. With that, he calls on the instructors, who make a flashy entrance from the sky one after another, each one more impressive than the last. While everyone stands frozen in awe at the 5 instructors, the group introduces themselves by unleashing powerful auras that blow most of the students off their feet. Taking it as a challenge, Fang gets up and fires back with an explosive introduction of his own, which catches the attention of the ratchet-looking lady who holds a grudge against his family and quietly vows to give him a hard time. Right then, Fu jumps in, refusing to be left behind, and the two start busting out over-the-top JoJo poses while braving the intense energy waves blasting against them, their confidence so irritating it starts getting on Sharp Boy's nerves. At that moment, the former principal makes a grand entrance, radiating the warm energy of a golden body master as he lands with peak aura and flawless dignity. Fu instantly realizes the man is clearly 8th rank as he launches into a speech about Mo University's legacy and something about a warrior's struggle. He goes on about how today's martial artists lack the glory their ancestors had, and then gazes into the sky with a deep look while everyone silently wonders what on earth he's yapping. Once that's over, the principal casually announces that everyone's getting a free top Kai and blood pill, which makes the crowd celebrate. Right after, he fires off another announcement saying the freshman training competition starts in 20 minutes and orders everyone to get to the training hall immediately. Fang panics as it hits him that all the freshmen, including Fu, are now his rivals. At the trading hall, Fang and Fu stare in awe at its massive size as their instructor explains that out of the 9 total floors, freshmen are only allowed on the first 4, each meant to test different skills. He then says that the floor a student ends up as the last one standing will decide which college they get assigned to, and anyone entering a floor after all 400 spots are filled will lose more than half their credits. Everyone quickly realizes the competition is basically a battle royal with every freshman turned against each other. Once the instructor adds that only wooden weapons are allowed, Fang and his buddy sprint to the entrance. Inside, weapons are grabbed and fights start breaking out all over. Without wasting a second, Fang says farewell and tells Fu he'll see him on the 4th floor. He charges straight for the stairs, brushes off a guy who tries to flatten him, then makes his way past another trio of sweaty virgins that even little girls could beat without breaking a sweat. Watching everyone flail their weapons around like idiots, even on the 2nd floor, Fang starts wondering if Wang was actually wrong about Mo's so-called competitive students. Meanwhile, a silver-haired girl on the stairs boots her opponent away like an annoying fly, but still catches him mid-fall, only for the guy to pull a cheap move and yeet her off the staircase. Her friends catch her just in time and instantly serve justice to the spineless coward. On the other side, Fu charges full speed into 4 guys like a lawnmower until 2 manage to slow him down with a decent fight. But out of nowhere, the fatty clamps onto his leg like it's a steak, giving his buddy the opening to sucker punch Fu and end his winning streak right there. Outside the control room, Kin paces furiously until the menacing instructor catches him snooping around, and he quickly throws out the excuse that he needs the principal's signature, even though he's merely there to check out the guy on screen who's made it to the 4th floor first. But it turns out his friend Zhao Lei beat him to it. Right after, the girl squad shows up, clearly disappointed that even though the guys are supposed to be stronger, they ended up all bark and no bite. As time goes on, the 4 starts filling up, and Kin mocks that the so-called strong duo is running late. After Fu knocks out an NPC challenged, Fang's entrance leaves everyone completely speechless. He mocks Fu's pathetic opponent and says loud enough for everyone to hear that he only left Nanjing because his senior claimed it was full of talent, but all he's seen are weaklings with 0 skill. The bold insult shocks everyone, and they start calling him an arrogant fool. Right after, he looks straight at the management watching and says that Mo's students are nothing but hot garbage. That's followed immediately by a PA announcement declaring that anyone who defeats Fang within 30 minutes will earn 1 credit, while his will be wiped clean. Fu finds himself forced to choose his side, but he remembers the bro code, and with that, an all-out brawl explodes across the floor. The bros stand back to back, swatting away opponents like ants and stacking up points. Seeing this, the pink-haired girl Yang Xiaomin charges in and surprises Fang with how insanely strong she is for someone who looks like a TikTok e-girl, and he ends up blocking her unstoppable finisher using another guy's face just to survive the hit. Right after, Fu tells him he needs time to process his stamina pill and asks for cover, but Fang vanishes in a blink, leaving his buddy to get completely swarmed. Meanwhile, the blue-haired girl tells Zhao and Xiaomin to take on Fang while she and Youngsi handle Fu and let the rest wear their stamina down. With that, our protagonist gets split from his partner and ends up surrounded by the attack squad as Shumai coldly orders them to break his legs. In the meantime, Fu barely holds off the wave of attackers until Shumi tanks a hit with her massive forehead, catching him off guard and slams her knee into his gut. At the same time, the management team starts analyzing how Fang got so strong despite having no family background or master, and eventually realizes he's Wang Jingyang's apprentice, who was once himself a student of legendary Zhang, the man who never returned from a mission years ago. Back in the fight, Fu's down and everyone's warned that losing will cost them half their credits, so they all close in on him. Even though Fang doesn't want to reveal the system in front of everyone, he discreetly slides a health pill that spikes his stats and leaps into the air. While the management refuses to believe any human can absorb one that fast, the timer hits 0 and Fang is declared the victor. The principal then tells everyone to remember their humiliation and show up on time for tomorrow's mentor selection. The next day, Fang and his buddy watch all the freshmen rushing toward Lionhead Tang Feng since his boxing techniques are a big hit, but Fang isn't impressed and starts checking out the other instructors. None of them catches attention until his eyes land on the strange nameplate. He remembers the lady sitting there is the same ratchet woman from the introductions. As her ridiculous list of requirements irritates her, she suddenly calls him out, saying she's his best shot since the popular mentors usually taken the seniors Wang wrecked and the juniors he humiliated, meaning the whole university is basically out for his head. The lady gives Fang a hard reality check, reminding him he has 0 backing or family ties like Fu or Zhao Lei, and says he'll have to walk the same tough path senior Wang did. Fang gets the message and asks what she offers that the others don't, so she tells him she can take him places even Lionhead can't. After he hands her his card, Tang Feng casually throws in that over half her past students bond hard before graduation, but before Fang can rethink his decision, the lady grins and registers him as her student, and Sumi follows up. After that, Fu walks over and says he remembers her name as Lu Fengru, a tough-as-nails lady even more brutal than Lionhead. The next day, she gives Fang a private lecture on cultivating all meridians in his limbs, especially his legs, since they're flimsier than wet spaghetti. He then downs the 3 pills in front of him, which instantly harden the bones in his arms. Hours into focused training, he feels a fiery power surge up his body, which turns out to be a breakthrough. Lu tells him to bring Sumi next time to start martial arts techniques, while he cheers over hitting first rank and asks for those first rank candies. She shuts him down fast to remind him vitality pills don't grow on trees and boots him out of the house. The next day, Lu meets with her 2 new students and pulls out a Bruce Lee-style kick to show them what a real strike looks like. She explains that a proper martial artist channels bone tempering into a single strike point, then tells Fang to give it a go. He throws on his big boy pants and lands a thundering kick, only for the recoil to wreck his foot so bad he won't be able to train for days. Lu casually says she forgot to mention he needs alloy boots for that. Later, he limps his way to the logistics department on crutches, whining the whole way there. He forces the cranky geezer shamelessly napping at the front desk awake to buy some boots, but the man squints at him and asks what a cripple like him could possibly need new kicks for. Once Fang clears up that he's just hurt, the geezer fully leans in and says E-rank boots will cost him about a kidney and a half worth of credits. But seeing the horror on Fang's face, the guy offers him a special deal of D-rank Yeezys for the price of 2 kidneys. A couple days later, the trio heads to the martial arts club for training, but turn to leave when they find it already in use, only for a gang of seniors to call out to Fang with a nasty tone. One long-haired guy steps up, saying that since Fang's connected to Wan, the guy who beat up his brother, he's going to settle the score with his junior. Subi warns Fang not to take the bait since he's still injured, but when the guy calls him a coward, Fang just shrugs at the muscle-brained clown, whining over his brother's butt-kicking, and accepts the challenge, knowing they'll keep harassing him if he backs down now. He hops into the ring and the club's lady referee steps in. The first opponent complains Wang put him in bed for 3 months and cost him his 3rd rank, but Fang tells him to stop yapping and start fighting. The fuming guy charges up a fiery aura and his fist flies dangerously close to Fang's face as they exchange heavy blows. Fang lands a solid kick, but it barely phases the guy, who then slams back with a punch that Fang can't fully block and nearly snaps both his arms. Without giving him a moment to breathe, the man rains down punches while Fang barely dodges and starts begging the kind sir not to bash his skull in, since he clearly has no clue how to actually fight. That wishy-washy attitude ticks the guy off even more, so he throws a lightning-fast roundhouse kick that leaves Fang wide open. Just then, Teacher Lu reminds him to channel transformation of force through his feet, and that advice lets him float mid-air using the force. He dashes forward in a flash, and one clean kick to the chest sends the towering guy to dreamland. As Fang winces from the pain, Longhair starts rambling about his poor brother again, but Lu shuts it down instantly and exposes him in 4K that his brother was just a trash-tier bully who got duped and turned to scamming juniors for cash, but Longhair says he isn't afraid to kick an injured man down for revenge. That is, until Wang steps through the door and tells the loser to try picking on someone his own size. Later during dinner that night, Fang asks Wang why he suddenly showed up. Wang casually replies that it was just a coincidence and credits it to his senior kin. He then tells our hero about the upcoming National Freshman Exchange Competition, where 99 martial arts schools will be going head-to-head for resources, and asks him to start getting ready to take part in it. The next day in the conference room, the mentors discuss the upcoming martial arts competition, which is apparently being hosted by Mo itself. They explain that the school that wins will receive a massive 20% boost in their annual resource allocation. Tang Feng tells the freshmen that to keep things fair, they'll be the ones competing this time. Lu jokes that if the school really wants resources, Vice Principal Wu Kushin should just fight himself. Tang shuts her down, explaining how Wang's constant victories over their 3rd-tier students have made the school a laughingstock, and it's time they earn their pride back. He then orders the 10 new students to hit the peak of 1st-tier strength by the end of the month and make sure they turn things around. Soon after, the training begins and the newbies take on a mission to capture top-level rebel warriors, with 30 credits per head as reward. The mission ends with each of them receiving shiny new weapons, and Fang ends up with a spear. While Fang is testing out his new weapon, his teacher shows up and tells him to stop cultivating like he's trying to break everything. She then gives him a sword technique called Blood Burst Blade by Governor Zhang and asks him to train well with it. The story jumps ahead and the day of the grand competition finally arrives. The host makes a flashy entrance, shooting down from the sky and revealing himself as Liu Horong. he warns the crowd that this isn't some celebrity concert, so they better not cause trouble. Turns out Fang's sister has also shown up to cheer her brother on, and to no one's surprise, the fat YouTuber named Liu Dali, who loves pretending he risks his life for fan content, is there too, running his mouth like always. Yuan stops by to meet Fang along with some of his friends and finds out that her brother's been made the captain of their team. Everyone keeps calling Yuan president, and when Fang asks what's going on, she proudly tells him that she started a Yuan Ping Club and made herself the president with him as the vice president. Fang finds the whole idea ridiculous, but what really bothers him is that it should have been called Ping Yuan, not the other way around. He also finds out that the YouTuber, whom Yuan proudly calls her journalist, has somehow joined their crew too, hoping to dig up some juicy updates about the competition. The competition kicks off, and one by one, each team's captain is called to the stage. The host introduces the matchmaking system using a set of lottery balls, then hypes up the crowd by presenting the favorites to win. First up is the red uniform team from Jingdu Martial Arts School, led by their captain Han Su, who also happens to be the reigning national martial arts champion. Then come the green and yellow teams from the Martial University Alliance and the 8 School Alliance. Finally, the host gets to mow his team, pointing out their captain Fang, and says that he seems like a complete newbie who's barely known by anyone. With all captains gathered, the draw begins. What should have been a simple lottery suddenly feels intense, with all eyes locked on the results. As the balls roll and settle, it's revealed that Mo's blue team will be facing off against the yellow team in the second round. As the epic match kicks off between the red and green team captains, the fighters introduce themselves as Han Shu and Sun. Wasting no time, Sun launches a powerful move right out the gate, diving into a fierce battle against Han Shu. But despite the aggression, he barely scratches his opponent. He follows up with a technique called forward slash, but Han Shu dodges effortlessly, countering with his void stance. Things heat up as Han Su pulls out his signature move, the Rising Sun combo, but to everyone's surprise, Sun swats it away like it's nothing. As the battle heats up, Han Su slips into a ghostly footwork, dodging what could have been a fatal strike with ease. In the blink of an eye, he flashes behind Sun, catching him off guard and drives his weapon into Sun's chest. Gritting through the pain, Sun grabs onto Han Shu's spear and yanks him closer, thinking he's finally got him. But just when it seems like the tables have turned, Han Su flips the fight again, leaving Sun no choice but to surrender. Meanwhile, outside the battlefield, Qin casually tells Wang that his junior Fang is up next and bets he won't even survive the second round. But Wang doesn't bother replying much and just tells him to mind his own business. After a short break, the host finally announces it's time for the second match. Yuan rushes over to her brother in tears, begging him not to fight, but Fang just smiles and walks toward the arena, calling himself a warrior. News of the upcoming match spreads across the country, and everyone's buzzing with excitement. Even Fang's father has taken the day off just to watch his son's match. The host reads out Fang's introduction but freezes for a second when he spots that Fang's ace technique is the legendary Lion's Roar. Zhang Guanglin, who is Fang's opponent, scoffs and asks if he actually knows how to use it, but Fang brushes him off, saying he's still gathering energy and shouldn't be interrupted. Zhang scans him and keeps spotting flaws everywhere, but the more he thinks, the more he starts to find everything is sus. Fang casually drops his weapon, forcing Zhang into a defensive stance, but then messes with him by simply changing position, making the guy look like a clown. Zhang gets irritated and jumps into the air to use his Thunder Strike, but Fang deflects it like it's nothing, making it clear he'd been baiting him from the start. Then Fang does something unexpected, separating his weapon into 2 parts. The hidden piece turns out to be a phoenix knife, and Zhang instantly gets nervous. As the fight intensifies, Fang charges up and unleashes the Blood Burst Frenzy, the move his teacher, Lu, asked him to master. The attack lands clean, sending Zhang from the yellow team flying out of the ring. Fang shatters Zhang's weapon and makes him concede, winning the match in barely any time. The crowd erupts and Fang helps his opponent to his feet. Fu gets pumped up thinking Fang will let him go next, but the moment the host asks, his hopes crash as Fang decides to keep going. The guy from the yellow team lowers his head and apologizes to his captain for losing composure, but the captain reassures him, saying he managed to force Fang to reveal his trump card, and a martial artist of Fang's level shouldn't be able to pull off such a move again without time to recover. Just then, Fang pops 2 energy pills, clearly trying to cover his tracks, and it works. The captain believes that even 5 pills wouldn't help someone recover that fast. But suddenly, the host announces that Fang's energy has not only recovered, but is stronger than before, all in under 20 seconds. The Grandmasters watching from above start murmuring, realizing this kid must have a monstrous physique to absorb pills that quickly. The yellow team captain turns to their second member, Chen, and tells him to aim for Fang's lower body as it might be his only shot at winning. With that, round 2 begins and Chen dives in without even waiting for an introduction. The battle rages on until just when Chen starts to feel like he's got the upper hand, Fang fires off a 2-stage kick and knocks him out cold, securing a second straight win. The crowd goes wild, and when the host asks if he still wants to continue, Fang gives a simple nod. That's when the yellow team captain Bin realizes he messed up by underestimating this guy. Not wanting to give Fang time to recover, he immediately jumps into the arena and launches a full-force attack. Fang barely dodges and complains that he didn't even get to take his pills yet. Another intense fight breaks out, but Fang once again stuns everyone by pulling off something completely unexpected. He uses the void standing state and hovers in midair like he's flying. Even his own team and the chief guests watching from above are left wondering when the hell he even had time to train for all this. Fang lands back on the ground, casually claiming this one's going to be an easy win, then dives into a flashy duel with Bin. For a moment, it straight up looks like a Beyblade showdown with how fast they're spinning around the arena, and then things get way more intense. Bin powers up using some superhero-level technique, and the sheer impact of it makes the guy shirtless, revealing a fine muscular body that makes the crowd go wild. Fang tries to interrupt the move mid-charge, but can't even get the guy to flinch. The shirtless beast locks him up again, and the clash turns mythical. Bin transforms into a roaring spirit lion while Fang takes on the form of fierce bluish phoenix. Their moves keep draining each other out with every strike. Bin's sister watches the match on TV, nervously cheering her brother on. Both sides charge in for one final punch-off. The whole arena holds its breath, and when the dust settles, it's Fang who's still standing. He wins the third round by default as Bin's health points drop to 0, locking in yet another insane victory. The next day, the announcer reveals the matchups and announces that Jinwoo's red team will face off against the team representing Mo next. Later in the locker room, Fang asks Tang why he isn't fighting, and Tang explains that only 5 players are allowed in the match, and since he's already shown all of his tricks, it's time for the others to hold their cards close. The rest of the group insists they're not scared of the weaklings from Jinwoo, but Tang snaps back that they need to save their real strength for the finals. The lady backs him up, adding that they still haven't seen what the enemy team is fully capable of. In the end, Tang leaves the decision to Fang, who chooses to respect the instructor's advice. With that settled, the team heads into the arena with only 5 members selected. Fang's sister and the opposing team stunned by his unexpected absence. Fu hypes Shumi up with some pep talk and brags that he's about to roast Han Shu using his family's dragon arts. Just then, Fang steps into the arena and tells his buddy to stay focused and wreck the enemy. Right after, the first match kicks off with Tsume stepping in to face Shuji from Jinwoo, who hasn't lost a single round in 6 straight. They bow and introduce themselves before the fight begins, and Shuji instantly lunges at her with his spear striking hard and fast. Sumi blocks it with her bare arms for a moment, but gets sent flying when it turns out he'd been hiding his real strength all along. Sumi pushes back into the fight to prove she's not going down easy, but the hits start stacking up while the enemy captain explains Shuji's stacked enough points to throw out 5 full power blows like the one that sent her flying. Shuji closes the gap in a flash, and she takes his second strike head-on, her bones rattling hard as she somehow shoves him back. He recovers quickly though and fires off a third full-powered blast that snaps her bones like twigs and wipes out 60 health points. Her ridiculous durability starts getting on both the captain and Shuji's nerves, so he comes in again with another full-strength attack meant to finish her off. Just when he thinks he's won, Tsume catches him off guard by spitting out a blood arrow straight to the face. With him blinded, they clash like Naruto and Sasuke. As he goes all in, she ends it with a kick to the nads so nasty even Mike Tyson would cry. Every guy in the ring flinches in silence as Shumi is declared the first round's winner. When Fang hears that her broken bones putting her out of commission for 3 whole months, he gets seriously pissed and starts questioning whether it even makes sense to keep holding back. Meanwhile, Fu's fired up and wastes no time leaping into the ring to take on Han Su. As he charges in, Shu suddenly appears behind him with that sneaky ghost step move and tries to land a surprise hit, but Fu smoothly counters with a clean back strike. Shu doesn't let up though and follows it up with raw force, blasting Fu away like he's nothing and making him cough up blood. Fu brings out the Liu family's spear technique and throws a dragon at Xu, who casually deflects it like it's no big deal. While everyone's eyes follow the attack flying toward the crowd, Fu takes the chance to surprise Xu with a sucker punch that knocks a few teeth loose, but Xu quickly bounces back and finishes the match with a clean counter. As Fu walks off, he cracks everyone up and leaves Xiaoman fired up to take over. She charges at Xu barehanded, and to match her, he drops his weapon to beat her up with his fists. When she throws a punch, he grabs it easily and stops her sneaky kick with his rock-solid quads and surprises everyone. but then she slams her forehead into his and it works like a charm since no one their level tempers the skull. She comes at him again with a Jackie Chan-style kick that he counters with a brutal stab to her shoulder, but Xiaoman proves she's still the boss by smashing her receding hairline into his cracked dome one more time. With that, Jinwoo sends their third fighter who takes on Zhao Lei. Meanwhile, Wang and Qin are on the run after Wang stole a giant crystal for resources on a mission to get strong enough to save his mentor. Back in the arena, Zhao Lei gives it everything he's got, but the opponent easily dodges every move and knocks him out without even trying. Right after, the same guy mocks the last member of Fang's team into making a move and casually punches him into the ground, ending Mo's shot the finals. As the guy walks off laughing and lights a fire inside of Fang. After getting wrecked by Jingwoo, Fang Ping pulls a sneaky move and manages to lure Lai Zhaxu and Xiao Yikai into a triangle formation. Somehow they beat the Wu University Alliance in the elimination round, grabbing one last shot at winning the competition. Most of the team ends up lying around like half-dead warriors on hospital beds. That's when the lion head shows up and starts giving a classic hype speech. He tells Fang to fire up the team, and Fang steps up to do just that. A guy asks Master Tang who the final 3 fighters will be, but Tang leaves the choice to Fang. That's when Youngsi speaks up, asking for a chance. Her master isn't too thrilled about it, but Fang backs her up and picks her to go head-to-head against Jin Lei. The match between Mowu and Jingwoo sets off a storm online, with fans all over debating who to root for. Mowu's support rate starts crashing fast, but before anyone can blink, the first lineup gets announced and Jin Lei is up against Zhang from Jingwoo. Both step in looking like pro boxers, and after a quick formal intro, Jin wastes no time charging straight in. Zhang braces for a head-on clash, but out of nowhere, Jin slides right under him, slowing himself down by dragging his gloves along the ground to build friction. He flips direction mid-motion and strikes from behind, revealing that speed and agility are his secret weapons. Zhang gets hit hard and starts bleeding, but the big guy powers up and suddenly turns the fight around just when Jin seems close to victory, securing the first win for Jingwoo. He sticks around for the second round too, acting all flashy, and that's when Chen Youngsi steps up. As she walks in, she worries for the guy and tells him he should probably sit this one out. But Zhang underestimates her, thinking she's just a delicate girl, and fires off a brutal cannon fist that nearly knocks her out cold. But right as the host is about to call it, a miracle happens. Her revitalizing pill kicks in, and she rises from the floor, winning the round by default as Zhang collapses from exhaustion. With the score tied, Fang Wenxing shows up next, skipping any introductions and going all out with his punches. Youngsi finally stops holding back and goes all in with her mid-tier combat move called the 18-link kicks, each one landing hard and throwing Fang Wenxing off balance. But before she can finish the combo, the guy grabs her leg and slams her to the ground, then starts using a hidden technique from the Dong Fang family that looks like it could end her right there. Just in time, Fang Ping steps in and blocks the attack, staving her and conceding the round. He then faces off against the other Fang and absolutely humiliates him for even thinking he could win in such a drained state. With that out of the way, it's time for the final battle between the team captains. Han Xu steps up and throws himself into a fast-paced fight against Fang, who goes for his blood burst frenzy again, but Han counters with a move of his own, stopping it in midair. As Han takes the upper hand, the commentator tries to talk trash, only for Fang to shut him up mid-battle, making it clear he's not the one getting dominated. Fang then splits his weapon again and goes for another strong move, but Han sees through it and lands a sharp hit that injures him. Fang quickly fakes taking pills and secretly uses his system to restore his energy, ready for the next round. Meanwhile, Senior Wang and Qin lie back on their hospital beds with their bones still healing, chatting about how there's no way someone could recover that much vitality just by popping a bunch of pills. Back in the arena, Hu charges up and unleashes a storm of attacks straight at our boy, going all in and slamming Fang to the ground, leaving him beaten and barely moving. Just when it looks like everything's over, Fang suddenly finds himself floating in greenish-blue light on top of the system statue. He starts thinking hard, looking for any possible way to flip this hopeless fight, and then, out of nowhere, recovers completely, making it look like he just used a life-returning pill. Han tells him that his old frenzy technique won't help, but Fang refuses to back down. He fires back with a new move called Tiger Breaks the Army and chains it with more brutal hits, finally turning the tide and taking the win. That marks the end of the 3-day competition, with Fang's landslide victory against Xu earning him tons of prizes, and the announcer declares that they will meet for part 2 after the New Year holidays. Meanwhile, Fang learns not to take the competition lightly anymore, so he uses every second to train hard and grow stronger without relying on the system. Later that day, Fang heads out with his sister and the dorm crew as they all make their way home, chatting about how they need to keep up with him if they don't want to fall behind. On the way, he corners the greedy fat guy about that so-called exclusive coverage he never delivered and demands a fair cut of his profits as payback, which has the guy practically wetting himself before making a run for it. Right then, Fu and the others catch up and his friend says he's fully healed, while Xiaoman smirks and says anyone not at second rank by the start of school is officially gay, giving Youngxi a pointed look. With that, they all exchange goodbyes and Fang heads off for the train. On board, his sister is surprised he only ranks 6th in the tournament, but he shrugs it off saying it doesn't matter since he snuck into the control room and found out he's actually 2nd rank now and blows his classmate's mind. Though they get hyped, he tells everyone to keep it quiet for now. His classmate jokes that he's catching up to Wang, but Fang fires back that Wang's already gunning for 4th rank, and just like that he's fired up again to keep chasing after his big bro's footsteps. Fang feels happy on his walk home seeing the festivities and how nothing seems to have changed. He gives his autograph to some kids on the street, and the day ends with a heartwarming reunion with his parents. The next morning, he heads out for a walk when the agent who took the bounty guy away greets him and casually mentions that for his role in taking down Huang Bin and earning top marks in the martial arts competition, the city has decided to back him up by gifting him his own studio apartment right in the fancy neighborhood where his sister goes to school, which makes Fang speechless. He quickly calls up Wang to ask why he didn't claim his share since he contributed the most, but the senior aura farmer says he doesn't need it and points out Fang can use the extra space to train freely without bothering his family. Fang offers a meal to thank him, though Wang says he's buried in work and promises they'll catch up soon. With that, Fang moves into the Guxia class apartment with his family and they settle in together, filling the place with chill energy as the New Year holidays roll by. After the holidays, Fang shares that he's ranked 2nd and shocks everyone. Just then, an old friend calls, inviting him to Nanwu, and he agrees since it's been a while since he saw Wang. Fu asks what it's about, and Fang says they can all come too, which gets everyone excited for the trip. As the team reaches Nanwu, they're impressed by how elegant and well-kept the place looks. The peaceful vibe even gets the ladies talking about how calming it feels, but the moment doesn't last long as a troublemaker barges in, cursing and trying to stir up drama. Just then, Wang arrives and warmly welcomes his junior Fang along with the rest of the group to the prestigious Nanjingwu University. He casually asks Fang if he's already hit the peak of the 2nd level and then throws out a playful suggestion that he wants Fang to humiliate the Nanwu students the same way he did to Mo back when he visited there. Wang explains that the students here have become a little too comfortable and could use a wake-up call to reignite their drive. Breaking it down, he invites Fang to join a mock 2nd-tier match against Nanwu's squad. Though Fang initially tries to decline, his teammates get hyped about it, and with Wang sweetening the deal by throwing in some pills as a reward, our boy finally gives in and accepts. Fang makes a call to his lion-faced master Tang and tries buttering him up to send around 50 2nd-tier pills. Tang instantly explodes with anger at the outrageous request, but eventually agrees to send a batch of 1st-tier pills along with 5 2nd-tier ones. To fire up his fellow schoolmates, Wang boldly suggests to the principal that they should expel 90% of Nanwu's students if they fail against the recently promoted 2nd-tier students from Mo. He argues that this would allow the school to focus its resources on nurturing a handful of elite warriors who actually have the will to fight instead of wasting time on unmotivated slackers. The proposal causes an uproar across Nanwu. The principal shockingly agrees without much hesitation. Wang then declares the rules of the mock battle, which are as simple as the winner stays, the loser leaves, and the last one standing will be declared the victor. With tension in the air, the fight kicks off as Nanwu's 3rd-year student Chen Pengfei steps up against Mo's 1st-year Zhao Lei. However, the match turns out to be a breeze for Zhao Lei as he effortlessly secures the win. Choosing not to go another round, he steps down and Fang straps in for the 2nd fight, keeping his promise to Senior Wang. As soon as Fang steps onto the stage, a wave of commotion erupts across Nanwu with students buzzing in disbelief, wondering how this guy managed to level up so fast. To face him, Lady Langkei steps in. Fang immediately provokes her by joking that her name basically means rotten vegetable leaves, which makes Lan dash toward our boy in fury. She gets aggressive, but Fang toys with her effortlessly, and just when she mocks him for running like a scaredy cat, he flips the script and knocks her off the stage, forcing her to flee and give up. Next up, the gray-haired guy enters the arena, but before he can even introduce himself, Fang cuts him off saying he doesn't bother remembering weaklings. That fight ends in no time, and then a new challenger steps in, burning with bright red flames. Fang admits this guy looks like a proper opponent and throws his weapon aside, going barehanded. His fists start bleeding with every strike, but the opponent barely flinches, simply shaking off the impact. This time, the battle actually lasts for a good while, and since Fang has been playing around the whole time, he ends up getting caught in a tight spot. His opponent's fiery horse technique pins him down, leaving our boy cornered with barely any room to move. Fang takes the hit head-on and gets blasted away looking like burnt scraps, but still gets up and lunges at his enemy, who nails him with a punch to the gut. Getting desperate, he throws every attack he knows in a wild frenzy. As they keep trading punches, everyone starts to worry, then the two unleash all their energy and clash fists so hard that the crowd winces. Just when they seem ready to stop, Fang runs out of energy, so he slams his head into Xiang's skull again and again and finishes him off like a rabid dog, and then yells for the next piece of trash to bring it on. Wang steps in and tells him he's done enough, then shouts to the crowd asking if anyone dares challenge him. When no one answers, he calls it disgusting that they've gone weak and tells them to reclaim their honor by crushing the Mo's scum, which fires up the crowd, just as Wang had planned all along. The next day at school, Fang walks into the training building. Teacher Lu tells him to meet at where he sees Qin absolutely wipe the floor with one guy and hurl the other into the ceiling like a baseball. An NPC around Fang's level then challenges Qin, who shows the power of third rank, unfazed even by kicks to his steel-hard crotch. After showing off, Qin spots Fang and tells the last guy standing that his favorite junior will fight in his place, but teacher Lu launches him into the wall with a brutal punch for wrecking the school's property. She tells Fang to follow and completely ignores the half-dead sharp boy. As they walk, she explains the training facilities meant for breakthroughs, and inside the waiting room, she breaks down how third-rank warriors like Qin are basically titanium everywhere but the brain. To reach that level, Fang needs to refine not just his bones, but every inch of his body to gain the kind of insane power of the third rank that would let him one-shot someone like Bushan. With that, the guy at the counter straight up scams Fang out of all his points with zero room to bargain, and Fang heads into the training room. After sitting down, he focuses like he's possessed, and his eyes glow like Superman as his vitality points plummet, and a monstrous aura surrounds him like Goku on steroids, leaving Lu stunned as she realizes he might actually be a future master. His meridians snap into alignment so fast that even Fang is shocked by his sudden breakthrough. He says his energy's bomb and asks his mentor for some of the good pills, but she tells him to keep dreaming. That night, the Golden Geezer becomes anxious since Bai and the others still haven't returned from their secret mission in the underground, and soon they'll have to come clean. The principal decides to send out all second-rank fighters, quietly wondering if humanity's peaceful days are ending. Meanwhile, Fang heads to his first class underground when Youngsi suddenly calls out and asks if he's seen her teacher Bai. Just then, someone announces that the survivors have reached the south gate. Their two trucks roll in slowly and nurses begin unloading lifeless bodies in a heavy silence. Youngsi finally spots her mentor and smiles until she realizes all that's left is a torn, blood-soaked shirt where her left arm used to be. As the students stand frozen by what just happened, the Golden Geezer and a few other masters float down from above. He looks a bit gloomy but still tries to lighten the mood, saying that just making it back alive is good enough. Bai turns to Lu and asks her to take over Youngsi's training, which makes the poor girl tear up as she asks if her master doesn't want to teach her anymore. Lu gently explains that Bai has suffered serious internal injuries and will need at least 2 to 3 years to recover. Just then, another guy steps off the bus and announces that the Lanceway underground forces rebelled, costing them the lives of 6 precious meteors. The Golden Geezer steps forward, ordering him to arrange proper burials and take good care of the heroes' families. Watching all this unfold, Fang is completely lost and wonders what this underground business even is and what secrets this so-called place really holds. As the story progresses, everyone gathers in front of the graves of the mighty heroes who lost their lives for the noble cause and raises their elbows in salute before bursting into tears. The next day, the female mentor teaches the students all the necessary details about the underground caverns. She explains that the first documented entrance to the caverns was discovered around 800 years ago when a massive earthquake struck Sishin and the ground cracked open, causing widespread casualties. The Chronicles of Origin reveal that the first portal opened purely by accident and allowed underground creatures to learn the world above, with powers exceeding that of a 9th-ranked warrior and going beyond human capabilities. Fang asks the teacher why they cannot simply pass through the gateway, and she tells him that breaking the spatial isolation would come at an extreme cost, although recent research indicates that the isolation has been steadily weakening since the first portal appeared. She adds that there are currently 22 gateways that are not interconnected, and that further information remains out of reach, while also noting that the number of underground beings far outnumbers humanity and that the area holds intensely valuable resources. After class, Bai once again approaches Master Lu, pleading with her to take Youngsi in as her pupil. Lu hesitates for a moment but eventually agrees to give the girl a chance, then gently asks Bai to leave due to her declining health. As Bai walks away, Lu turns a bit stern toward Youngsi, accusing her of wasting resources. Fang steps in to defend her, but Lu quickly turns her attention to him instead, questioning why he has only tempered 6 coins so far. Fang puts on his best crocodile tears, claiming his family is too old and he heavily relies on those coins to make progress. Hearing that, Lu softens and offers him some resources before handing him a scroll. She tells him to wait at the entrance of the southern district and pass it to an old man with white hair coming out from the underground. She also asks Fang to tell the man that her daughter still loves him and should stay by her side. As soon as Fang gets promised enough resources to feel rich, he rushes straight to the shopkeeper, proudly bragging that he now has over 1,000 credits. He demands a 3rd-grade vitality pill of the finest quality in exchange. The old man running the shop quickly figures out that Lu must have been the one who gave him that many points, and when he curiously asks what Fang had to do for them, Fang happily hands over the scroll. The old geezer takes one look and mutters that the person mentioned is not just his mentor but also his sworn enemy, none other than the lord of the 9th-grade realm in the Modu Cave. Fang freezes, realizing he's been played like a clown. As night falls, Fang crouches in the bushes with his friends when they spot some movement near the entrance. Fang suspects the person might be his mentor's father, and just as the long white-haired man appears, Fu steps forward and hands him the letter saying Lu misses him. The old man looks up and asks for confirmation, so our boy steps out from hiding and nods. Without a word, the white-haired elder sends Fang flying with a flick and vanishes on the spot, leaving Fu frozen, trying to figure out what just happened. The next day, Fu explains to Fang that the guy he went up against last night was none other than the Snake King Wu Kusehan, ranked 47th and the vice principal of Mo. He clears up the confusion, saying the man wasn't Lu's father but her husband, and they even had a daughter together. Fu adds that according to his dad, Principal Wu once dragged his daughter into an underground mission and ended up losing her, forced to watch helplessly as she died. Later, while Fang is deep in training, his mentor and the vice principal arrive at the shopkeeper. The Snake King watches closely and is surprised when Fang uses his mental energy to capture energy particles, something typically only 6th-tier warriors can do, even though Fang is just at the 3rd tier. Seeing this miraculous display, the mentors quickly realize their student is one of those rare, powerful, mutated warriors. Once he finishes, Fang happily announces that he has reached the peak of the 3rd tier, earning his master's approval. She tells him to return later so she can teach him advanced techniques. The next day, Fang begins an intense training session under Master Lu. Finally, the big day arrives and all the young students gear up for their descent into the underground. Their mentors and the Golden Geezer show up to see them off, giving them words of encouragement and reminding them of the duty and responsibility they carry on this journey to the lair. As they prepare to leave, the elders bid them farewell, hoping to see them return in one piece. After they reach the destination, Tang Feng tells everyone to grab their essentials, and the squads move together toward the military checkpoint where he shows his permit to a soldier clearly on par with him. With that, everyone heads into the underground mission hall, where warriors from all over gather to trade loot for useful items. After that, they make their way to the great alloy door that separates the base from the underground, built to stop any chance of an invasion. After a Jack Sparrow-looking guy grants them access, he tells Fang not to get himself unalive, and Tang explains that the door only allows one person through at a time. As the group heads to a room where they climb the stairs toward a creepy red vortex, Fang walks right up to it and slides his arm in, freaking everyone out by pretending it broke before admitting he overreacted. This makes Xiaoman so mad she dropkicks him Chuck Norris style straight into the interdimensional passage made entirely of energy particles. As Fang considers absorbing them all, Tang quickly warns him to chill or he'll collapse the whole passage, and then explains that the gateway is becoming unstable as each day passes, and if Earth connects directly to the underground and they fail to hold the line, humanity is done for. Fang realizes this would trap everyone already inside with no chance of return, not even their bodies, and with that heavy thought, everyone heads in. Inside, Tang introduces them to a 6th-ranked powerhouse of the underground General Xo, who takes the lead and guides them forward until they reach a rundown place called Hope City that's barely held together with the bare minimum for martial artists to live in. General Xu goes on to explain that Tianmen City launches military operations against Hope City several times a year, and they've always been on the defensive until now. But this time, he says it's time for Hope City to strike back. The plan is to send scattered squads of warriors to clear out small enemy units surrounding the area, and he warns the students that this is a real battle of life and death, while also making it clear that their first task is simply to get a lay of the land and follow orders word for word while in the underground. As they leave the city behind, Tang lays out the harsh truths of the underground, painting a grim picture of what lies ahead. Growing impatient, he suddenly says he's taking the 3rd ranks deeper on his own and tells them with a serious face they can't afford to move slowly, and the students will have to fend for themselves once he gets them into the wilderness. Fang argues it's too risky for his group, but Tang snaps back that he should head out alone if he's so worried and actually fight instead of just loafing around. Fang fires back that it's his first time out here, but Tang cuts him off and asks why a third-rank warrior is so scared and whether he's really happy of showing off his strength around inferior classmates, while his mentor Wang was already facing fourth-rank monsters at the same level like a true warrior. Tang calls him a major disappointment and a waste of talent he refuses to acknowledge, reminding Fang that his purpose is to serve humanity. Fang answers that he's not afraid to risk his life, so Tang dares him to prove it and walks off with the other students. Later, as the guide warns everyone to stay close, Nungxi notes she hasn't seen Fang in a while before they realize he's been missing for some time. Off on his detour, Fang soon figures out he's completely stranded when a cave dweller suddenly pops out from the bushes with a surprise attack Assassin's Creed style. He draws his weapon, but the creature retreats into the tall grass. Staying sharp, Fang tunes into his surroundings and fires off an energy blast that one-shots it instantly. He's surprised how human they look and checks its dog tag, which has Tianmen City's brand on it, and then snatches an energy stone from the corpse. As he backs off, a trio of warriors shows up to check the body, but when one tilts his head ever so slightly in Fang's direction, he realizes the jig is up. As the warriors charge at Fang with weapons drawn, our boy springs into action and launches an attack that gets instantly deflected. Without wasting a second, he bolts in the opposite direction, darting through the trees like a monkey. The trio chases after him, and though Fang tries to strike mid-air, none of his attacks land. Realizing that a fence won't cut it, he channels his energy into his legs to boost his speed and agility. While Fang is busy escaping the bloodthirsty trio, the dean and others grow worried that he might wander too far, complicating the mission. Fortunately, Fang manages to take care of the trio, but just as he's about to catch his breath, a massive fox with leopard skin and a gleaming golden body known as the King of Cunning Lin blocks his path. Before Fang can react, the trio tries jumping him from above, hoping to catch him off guard, but the moment they spot the fox, they attempt to flee, only for the Cunning Lin to suck every last bit of their energy dry, setting his hungry gaze on our boy as his next tasty snack. Just as the cunning fox steps forward Fang, he starts wondering if this is the end for him, but completely out of the blue the beast just sniffs at him. Fang quickly realizes that it must have picked up the scent of the green stone he has been carrying, and in a desperate move to save his own skin, he tosses it away without thinking twice. The fox seems to fall for the bait and gulps down that ridiculously expensive stone, but just when Fang begins to think that he has pulled one over the beast, that locks eyes on him and starts draining him at a terrifying speed. Meanwhile, the school dean looks around the forest, hoping that Fang hasn't done something as stupid as entering the fox's lair, because he knows the danger of it and realizes that this cunning creature is almost about to break through to the 8th tier, which would make it an absolute nightmare to deal with. Right then, the fox suddenly stops sucking more energy and casually turns back to lie down on his usual sleeping spot. After wasting a whopping 14 million martial art points and draining every single energy stone, he had Fang bolts from the area, promising the Fox King that he will return with even tastier meals like those warriors. And just as he jumps out of the territory laughing like a maniac about how he actually survived, 4 warriors show up right in front of him. Without wasting a second, our guide lures them straight to the fox, and once the beast digs into his fresh new snacks, Fang once again dashes off on another crazy escape run. Sometime later, Fang runs into a completely different group of warriors who don't look anything like the ones from before, and when he spots the totem they're carrying, something about it feels oddly familiar, and he starts wondering if they're planning to attack Hope City. Deciding that he needs to warn the city fast, Fang makes up his mind to rush back, but the only way out is right through the King Fox's turf. Knowing this, he returns to the beast's place and finds that it has already finished snacking on all the soldiers. Realizing there's nothing else he can do, Fang just stands there letting the beast drain his energy again. While looking around, he spots a gauntlet lying near one of the warriors and shows it to the Fox King, asking if he can take it so he can hunt down more meals for him. To his surprise, the item gives him over 6 million points, and he starts wondering if collecting more of these could level up his system. With the Fox King's approval granted, he sets off once more, and by this time, Fang has pretty much turned this mighty beast into his own personal cheat code. After grabbing enough loot from all the fallen warriors, he heads out again, ready for the next move. Meanwhile, Lu arrives and finds out that her pupil has gone missing, but before she can react too much, Tang tells her that the real priority right now is dealing with Tianmen City. And just as the argument starts heating up, everyone suddenly spots our boy sprinting like a madman towards them and instantly lights up with joy at his return. Fang screams for help as he runs, since those warriors are right behind him, and without wasting time, Tang jumps in and rescues our boy by throwing himself into a fight against the 5th tier warriors. The leader of the group, realizing he's no match, decides to use his underlings as bait and makes a run for it, but Tang chases after him, quickly catching up and beats him down before letting him limp away with a couple of cracked bones. As everyone waits, Fang Ping finally shows up holding the Cavern Warrior medals in his hand and proudly shouts that he didn't mess up the mission and even managed to slay a peak 5th tier warrior. Lu finds out that her kid was sent out on a mission and gets furious at the dean, but the moment she sees her student standing there safe, she can't help smiling. The army guys around start chanting Fang's name, and just like that, it seems our guy has officially become a known face. Later that day, as Fang gets patched up, Lu scolds him for putting his life on the line like that, but Fang quickly changes the topic and starts telling them about what he saw while escaping, adding that he has a feeling Fate City might be in serious danger. The moment the higher-ups hear this, they don't waste a second and rush off to get the defenses ready. Later, soldiers from across the base gather while the teachers talk about how badly outnumbered they are and that the old principal won't be stepping in this time since his golden body has barely any invincibility left, and using it now could cost him his life. Back at the infirmary, Sume tells Fang they're going to war with the underground army, and the mood shifts as everyone goes serious, until Fu jumps in saying it's the perfect shot to level up like never before, which instantly fires the others up. But Teacher Lu tells him to stand down since he's injured, and Fu fires back that he should stop hogging the spotlight like some clout-chasing show-off. Fang says he won't sit back knowing he could lose everyone in a single blow. He admits he's scared of dying, but losing his friends is worse, and he'll take down 2 cities solo if he has to. Teacher Lu then snaps him back to reality, reminding him the place is crawling with 8th and 9th ranked monsters from the abyss. Still, Fang asks Youngsi for some rejuvenating pills and downs them like it's nothing, while Fu warns him that he's got some big shoes to fill. As Fang studies his worn-out weapon, the captain shows up and hands him a B-grade crescent blade salvaged from one of the enemies he took down. With that, everyone gears up with fresh equipment just as reinforcements start pouring in through the portal. At the same time, Fang realizes the damage he took is way past healing, so his only shot is to push straight to 8th ranked golden body like the principal if he wants to stand a chance in this fight. Fueled by that thought, he locks in on his goal to catch up to his senior Wang after the breakthrough. Later in the meeting room, Qin brags about being one of the 2 third rankers called in to help, and the briefing kicks off with Tang explaining who their target is. When Zhao Lei says he won't just stand by, the big guy shuts him down, saying even his power won't matter in this battle and that war isn't some playground, so they all need to follow their orders to the letter. The soldiers then bring out 2 trunks filled with energy-restoring stones, but before long, a war horn blares and they're forced to move out. On the battlefield, cave warriors are already spread out and ready to strike at any moment. The general declares that it's time humanity strikes back, and everyone cracks their energy stones to power up as a massive mid-air battle erupts, each fighter going all in. As the creepy cavemen crawl up the walls looking like tiny cart titans, Xiaowen and Zhao Lei jump into action and show off the results of their training. At the same time, Youngsi and her teacher Bai fight side by side like a dynamic duo, while Fang and Fu prove they're just as impressive, stepping up as the real dream team. Standing back to back, the 2 blast away the swarm of cavemen like they're nothing, until a 4th rank NPC suddenly ambushes them. But before it gets far, Qin steps in with a cocky grin, telling the enemy to pick on someone its own size, then goes in hard until it finally decides to get serious. When the warrior tries to fight back, Qin casually tosses his sword into the sky and punches the self-respect clean out of it, sending it flying straight into the falling blade that brutally stabs through it on impact. After that, the soldiers power up the ballises and launch massive bolts to wipe out the small fry and cripple enemy supplies, while the instructors tear through the middle-rank warriors with ease. This pushes the enemy general over the edge, and he charges straight at Wu, leaving everyone unsure of what to do as both their top fighters struggle to hold their ground against enemies with a clear rank advantage. As the captain weighs his options, someone brings up using the energy cannon, but he's shut down instantly since firing it even once burns through millions, making him think this could be the end for Hope City. That's when Fang sees the enemy general completely overpowering Wu, and one by one, humanity's strongest start falling like flies. He tries to jump in, but Qin tells him to chill since they'd be minced meat at their lowly power level. Right then, they spot a deadly blast coming straight for Teacher Lu, which she saved at the last second by a surprise attack that turns out to be from the former principal and his squad of tough old geezers. Right after that, Hanok Su and the crew from the tournament show up too. After a quick exchange, the jacked elders step in to face off against the enemy general and his goons with style, and the students get fired up to join the fight and pull their weight. As the principal snaps off his arm like it's nothing and insults the Beastman's mother for being ugly, the furious enemy grows another arm and strikes back by slicing off the old man's sick braids. It then fires off a barrage of blasts across the battlefield, taking out several foot soldiers and making the principal realize that the longer this drags on, the higher humanity's death toll will rise. Wanting to protect the younger generation, the old man taps into Ultra Instinct mode, his golden aura glowing brighter than ever as he clashes with a powered-up enemy general. Right before the Beast Man launches into the air and drops his ultimate move straight onto him. But the geezer stays cooler than a cucumber and says he didn't cultivate a golden body just to die quietly, then charges straight in and unleashes all his remaining energy in one final blaze of glory that wipes out nearly half the enemy forces in the explosion, forcing the cave warriors to retreat. Everyone stands in stunned silence as it sinks in that this was the last they'll ever see of the absolute Chad of an old man.